Alright, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury is now confirmed October 14th for that Misfits Prime card that's going on. For those guys that don't know that follow MMA and only follow me for MMA, this is, a card that's going to have KSI, Logan Paul. They're both going to be fighting, guys. Apparently, Logan Paul is supposed to be fighting Dylan Dennis. That's the rumors on the street. KSI is confirmed to be fighting Tommy Fury. We knew this, though, after that last fight with Joe Fournier. They had a nice face-to-face, crazy altercation. I think they pushed each other. Some bad blood there, but you could tell it's just really just competitive fuel there. I don't think they have really bad beef against each other. And it's interesting because obviously Tommy Fury did beat Jake Paul earlier this year, and there's a lot of talk of KSI versus Jake Paul. So if KSI manages to beat Tommy Fury, like, that's a pretty big deal, right? He doesn't even need to beat Jake Paul at that point for that to be very impressive. How does the KSI versus Tommy Fury matchup compare to Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, right? Because as I stated, Jake Paul pretty much got dominated by Tommy Fury. I know it was a split decision. A lot of people try to say it was close. Guys, it was not close. Jake Paul maybe won 2 rounds, one of which was a knockdown, which was kind of a half knockdown, if we're going to be honest, more of an off-balance shot. And technically, yes, it is a knockdown because the punch got him off balance, but Tommy wasn't hurt at all. Outside of that part in the round, Tommy dominated that too. So I don't want to see a Tommy Fury rematch with Jake Paul. It makes no sense. I don't mind Jake Paul versus MMA fighters. I know it's annoying because he tries to claim he's a good boxer, yet fights old MMA fighters, but those are the competitive matchups. We're going to talk about Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz later on throughout the week as well, because it's the big fight week. And also, I'm going to be talking about the past UFC 291 card. I was going to upload mad videos today, but my computer is not working, but it should be fixed by the time you guys are watching this. Like, I'm going to be getting it fixed Monday morning, so hopefully that works out. But I'm not going to bore you with all that. But before we get into the fights, I'm going to bore you a little bit more. Just remind you to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share for the algorithm, because I need it. It would help me out. And yeah, just make sure to share this video. And I want to get into the KSI Tommy Fury fight. Now, like I said, KSI coming off of that win sort of against Joe Fournier. I don't know if it was really a win. I guess it was a no contest because of the whole elbow situation, but it was kind of clear as day he was going to win the fight anyway. So after that knockout, he goes face to face with Tommy Fury. That was the clear fight to be made. KSI going into the fight had said he wanted to fight Tommy Fury. I didn't think this fight was going to happen. I said immediately, hey, this fight isn't going to happen. It looked like they were heading towards a direction where the fight wasn't happening. Some talks of Jorge Masvidal versus KSI. And yeah, I'm still not 100% convinced. Tommy Fury did pull out a few times against Jake Paul, but at the same time, I think it's a little bit different. I think Tommy Fury's confidence is definitely at an all-time high after dominating Jake Paul like that. So I think his confidence is pretty high in a KSI matchup because, yeah, stylistically, when you're looking at pure boxing, Jake Paul is the better boxer. But does that mean that he's more of a threat to Tommy Fury? No. I have been saying this, guys, and I've also claimed that, look, I think that KSI isn't good at boxing, right? But that's almost what makes him so good in a way, is he's so unorthodox. He has such a weird style, such a weird stance, that it kind of confuses his opponents, right? Because they're expecting a traditional boxer mixed with the power that KSI has. I mean, KSI hits hard. You could tell he hits hard. Knocked out FaZe Temper. Knocked out Joe Fournier. I know it was with an elbow, I guess, so that doesn't really count. But you could just tell the guys that he hits, they feel the power. A lot of the sparring partners that they have always claim KSI hits harder than Jake. So the power threat is there. And I just think an unorthodox style against Tommy Fury, that's going to be tough for Tommy, because opposed to Jake, right, he's just seeing that typical jab-heavy boxer, throwing the 1-2, throwing simple combinations. That's what Jake Paul was doing in a fight with Tommy Fury. You can't do that with Tommy Fury. If you're going to box him, you're going to lose. KSI cannot outbox Tommy Fury. He barely can outbox Jake Paul, if we're going to be honest. So that can't be his game plan going into this fight. And I think his game plan is going to have to be a little more unorthodox like he usually is. And I think that's the threat of it, the unexpectedness. It's those weird guys throughout your career that give you a lot of problems. You don't know if KSI is going to throw a massive right hand to the head, to the body. He does so many weird things. I have a video breaking down his whole boxing style if you guys want to go check that out. I put a lot of work into that video. And maybe I'll do another one when we get closer to the fight, maybe about his Joe Fournier fight. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section below and I'll put it out. As for Tommy Fury, he is coming off of that split decision win against Jake Paul. Shouldn't have been a split decision, just bad judging there. Should have been a clear unanimous decision. Clearly beat Jake Paul, out jabbed him, and just clearly outboxed him. Tommy has the boxing advantage because he's been boxing all of his life. That's basically all he's known since he was around 3 years old. Especially learning at such a young age, you're going to be learning a lot faster than someone like KSI who picked it up in his early 20s. Like, Tommy's instinctual reflexes are probably going to be better than KSI. His boxing IQ is definitely going to be a lot higher. His composure is going to be better. He's been at big stages now that he did fight Jake Paul in Saudi Arabia. And yeah, this is going to be another animal though, because I want to point out to you guys that maybe if you guys are Americans like me, you guys might say, hey, this is just another KSI fight. If you guys know anything about England and the UK, this is a massive deal here, because both guys are huge stars over there. KSI is a huge star in the UK, and so is Tommy Fury. Like, they could probably sell out Wembley with this fight. Okay, maybe I'm dragging. I don't know if 90,000 people, but still, they could probably sell a whole lot of tickets and make a lot of revenue off this fight. And I like the matchup, guys. I'm going to be honest. I do like it because I would rather Tommy Fury fight KSI than fight Jake Paul for a second time, because I think that there's no way Jake Paul is going to beat Tommy Fury. I said it going into the last fight. I said, hey, Tommy Fury fights good going backwards, and if he's going forward, there's no way Jake is going to win. So there really is no way, in my opinion, for Jake to win. Of course, he is fighting this weekend. We can see some of his improvements. Granted, he is fighting against Nate Diaz, but we're going to see some of his improvements. He does have a new team now, so I'm curious to see that. And we're going to talk about that later. I'm going to be making a video about Nate Diaz and Jake Paul soon, probably by tomorrow or something like that. But yeah, man, this Misfits card is apparently supposed to be crazy. Logan Paul is also fighting on the card, maybe against Dylan Danis, which, why are they having Dylan Danis still fight on cards, right? Dylan Danis pulls out on every occasion. The man is probably the most unreliable dude. There was a time where I liked Dylan Danis, where I defended Dylan Danis, but it's just like, dude, if you're not going to show up and make everyone that defends you look like an idiot, nobody's going to defend you. So I'm not defending Dylan Danis anymore. The guy is literally a disappointment. And although he has great jiu-jitsu skills, he doesn't show them, and I hope that he fights. I hope that he gets back into the fight game and could show some of his skills off. But regardless, yeah, this KSI Tommy Fury matchup, it's interesting. I think right now, though, I'm going to have to go with Tommy Fury. I think he'll probably jab up KSI. KSI leaves himself way too open. I really wouldn't be surprised if Tommy Fury knocks down KSI with a jab. Now, does it go to distance? It's an 8-round fight. I think KSI has the better composure now than he did back then. So I don't think he's going to be as gassed as he was in that Logan fight going into the later rounds, where I know a lot of people say he has this endurance, but the guy breathes out of his mouth like crazy. I don't think he has crazy endurance, but I just think he's a tough guy that is willing to go forward even if he's tired and push through until he collapses. So he has the heart, and arguably maybe that's an advantage he has over Tommy Fury. Like, maybe he has more heart. We haven't really seen Tommy Fury tested so much. Even against Jake Paul, it looked like he was in control of the whole fight. We haven't really seen a scenario where we could say that he was going backwards, where he was on the back foot, where he was worried, where he was hurt. We haven't seen that. For the most part, he's been in pretty control of his fight. He made Jake Paul look easy, and I think he's gonna beat KSI, but I think there might be a few scares here and there. I think KSI might actually land a few shots that maybe get the attention of Tommy Fury. I think it's a possibility that KSI wins a few of the earlier rounds, and then I think maybe Tommy Fury is going to kind of separate as the fight goes on, out jabbing KSI, outlanding him, and then maybe he'll get a unanimous decision victory. I think it'll be a close fight, maybe arguably even closer than that Jake Paul fight that Tommy Fury had with him. And with the win against Tommy Fury, I mean, does KSI even have to fight Jake Paul? Like, that is a massive, massive accomplishment if he's able to beat Tommy Fury. Like, if Jake Paul beat Tommy Fury, I would have a lot of respect for him, and I would tell you guys, hey man, you guys cannot doubt this guy anymore. But yeah, I think the unorthodox style that KSI has might bring problems to Tommy Fury, because all of his life he usually is probably sparring with the traditional boxer, throwing 1-2s, and he's used to boxers. But KSI isn't necessarily a boxer. He even trains at an MMA gym, and some of his moves that he does, he sometimes just switches stances midway just to land a combination, just to have extra power. Like, he does little slick things like that bring a lot of problems. I talk about a lot of my videos, so I don't mean to keep plugging that video, but I suggest you tune in for that. And yeah, October 14th is going to be a good fight date. Of course, if you guys don't know, a lot of these YouTube cards I usually stream. I think I might be streaming this Saturday. I'm gonna let you guys know in the future, but tune in for that. I'll probably be streaming for the Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul fight. But yeah, final thoughts. I'm excited for the fight. I think it's an interesting matchup. I think it's going to be tough for Tommy Fury to prepare for KSI, but I think it's going to be rather easy for KSI to prepare for Tommy Fury. Now, does that mean the preparation is going to be able to make either guy win? No, not at all, right? KSI could probably prepare for Tommy Fury all camp long and still lose the fight, because Tommy Fury is good, and he's a guy that hasn't taken damage throughout his career. He's a guy that's rather new, and that's why I said Jake Paul wasn't going to be able to knock him out. Like, it's hard to knock out a guy that hasn't taken so much damage. Jake Paul kind of makes knocking out guys look easy because he picks older dudes that have taken head trauma. Even Nate Robinson, right? He's a basketball player, I get it, but still he probably taken some sort of head trauma throughout his career in basketball. Obviously, you know, accidents happen all the time there. And Tyron Woodley obviously has taken a lot of damage, almost got knocked out by Luke. Couldn't even knock out Anderson Silva. So Jake doesn't have a lot of power, in my opinion. I think he has pretty basic power. But KSI, I think, hits different. We've seen him knock out guys that are rather fresh. But we're going to see October. I'm excited. I'm also excited for Logan Paul to be fighting on that same card. Maybe he's going to fight Masvidal. Maybe he's going to fight Dylan Danis. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this matchup? I'm going to be making a video about UFC 291, talking about the main event, talking about Gaethje versus Oliveira versus Makhachev. I'm also going to do a video about Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka, what I think they should do with the light heavyweight division, and also making a video about Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul, and I have another video coming out that you guys will see very soon, but I'm excited for that one as well. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA and YouTube boxing, I guess, since this is a YouTube boxing video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.